Hello, distance learners. I hope you guys are having a great Thursday. So what I want to do in this video today is go over a little bit of a review of what we talked about in regards to characterization last week and show you how you're going to be completing your assignment for today. So like we talked about last week, there are quite a few different types of characters. We went through these examples and we talked about the different character types: protagonist, the main good guy in a story; antagonist, the main bad guys in a story. I encourage you to go back to last week and rewatch that video if you don't remember those things. And we talked about some examples of some of those types of characters that we've seen in movies and TV shows. The types of things that I want to talk about with you guys today are a little different. So watch that video if you're not sure or remember, or you don't remember what parts of the types of characters we talked about. But I want to talk to you guys today about some ways that authors characterize or describe or develop their characters in a story, because you guys are eventually going to be writing your own stories or narrative essays, and in that you are going to need to describe and develop your characters. So there are two main ways that you can describe or develop your characters when you are writing about them in a story. Example number one would be direct characterization. It's where you tell the reader specifically about what your character is like. So if you have a happy, upbeat character, you could say something like in this example here, she was a cheery, always upbeat person. You specifically told us what the character is like, their personality, and the things that they, or how they act. Indirect characterization is a little more subtle. Indirect characterization, instead of telling us specifically what the character is like, it shows us what the character is like by describing how they act or describing their thoughts. So in this case here, here's an example. It says, her lighthouse smile beckoned across the crowd. So what that means is that this author here is describing the way that this character smiles as being very bright, like a lighthouse, saying that it's very big and noticeable. So if someone is smiling a lot in a really bright and dramatic and exaggerative and often way, you can kind of make guesses that maybe that person is a happy or cheery person. So it's two sides to the same coin. Both of these types of characterizations are important, but one is a little bit more subtle and one is fittingly more direct. So the next thing I want to talk about are some questions to ask ourselves whenever we're reading in our novels. The reason we're talking about these questions today is because you guys, for your assignment, are going to be brainstorming a character that you might like to include in your own story that you create within the next couple of weeks. So questions we can ask ourselves: how soon is each character introduced? So when we're reading a story, how quickly does that character find out? If we find out about a character within the first paragraph or first couple of pages, we can make a guess that that character is going to be important. The next question I want to talk about is, which character is the reader most encouraged to sympathize with? So if a character is portrayed as someone who is good, someone who is helping other people, someone who's kind or funny, or any positive characteristic, and that makes you like the character, or in some cases sympathize, where you feel pity for them, or you maybe feel that you empathize or have gone through something similar to them, maybe that's the author trying to show you that that's the character that they want you to like and that is going to be important to the story. All right, the next thing is, what word choice does the author use to describe the character? How do they describe them? What happens to this character throughout the story? Does this character have bad things happen to them? Do they have good things happen to them? What's happening to the character? And let's see, what the last question I want to talk about is, why does a character do what she or he does? So in this case, if a character is maybe, I don't know, I feel like this is my most common example, but if a character is fighting with their sibling and they punch them in the face, I really hope you guys never do that. But if that happens in a story, what might have provoked the character to do that? Why did that character do that? And so those are the questions that you can ask yourself as you're reading a novel about the types of characters that you see when you're reading stories. Those are important questions because you guys are going to be creating your own characters. So let's look at this assignment for today. So as soon you're going to be writing your own story, and an essential part of a story are the characters in that story. So today you're going to brainstorm a potential character you might like to include when writing your own story. So read the questions and prompts below and fill them out based on a character you might like to write about. So what you're going to do is you're going to copy and paste all of these questions into either a document or the text entry box that you can do on Canvas, and then you're going to answer the questions. So you're going to describe their physical appearance, tell their name, age, location, income, things like that, how they speak, where they're from, saddest memories that that character has gone through, happiest memories, who they have as a family, what's important to the way that they think, and maybe some of their goals for themselves. So this will be due on Thursday, so make sure that you answer all of the questions. You can upload it as a file or as a text document. It's totally up to you. All right, if you have any questions, you can message me or email me.